Hi, I'm Pete Markow. I'm a sergeant with Dothan Police Department, and I started the security program here at First United Methodist Church, so some of you may have seen me before. The reason I'm here today is to share a story that I went through and what the church did for me. In June of last year, June 8th to be specific, I was involved in a near-fatal motorcycle wreck where I almost lost my life. Long story short, car was weaving back and forth on the road, and I'm a police officer, so I kind of know what the guy was doing. He was texting. He had no brake lights, no signal lights. I got a little frustrated and impatient, and I went around him. As I went around him, he decided to turn left, and the crash happened. Pretty much broke most of the things on the left side of my body, punctured a lung, and exploded a spleen. Went into policeman mode right away, started barking orders to people. I need you to do this, 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 and then I collapsed. Next thing I knew, I was being transported to Southeast Health, where while in the emergency room, I knew I was bad because I was laying on the bed and I was actually hovering above the room, and my dad, who passed away in 2008, started talking to me, and he started telling me that your mission here on earth isn't done. You need to go back. So I knew I was in pretty bad shape. Spent a few weeks in intensive care unit, which was pretty bad because while I was in there, I started getting pneumonia on top of all the other things that I had. Couldn't breathe very well because of all the broken ribs and the punctured lung. While I was in the hospital, Mary Noble, bless her heart, she reached out to my wife Barbara and to me, and the church went into full mode, if you will. The kids wrote cards, made posters. I ended up getting a prayer shawl, which stayed with me my entire 6 months of recovery. I wore it pretty much daily, keep warm, because I stayed cold even though it was warm outside. And I had a little wooden cross that stayed with me the entire time. If I wasn't wearing it in my pocket of my shorts, it stayed on my coffee table right next to me. Something that I really appreciated the church doing was reaching out, and food was being delivered on a regular basis. I felt the prayers and I felt the love. I stayed in the hospital. Well, after ICU, I stayed in the hospital for about another month or so, and then I went for several weeks over to rehab. October, I went back to work, light duty, and December 20th was my first day back in uniform, 6 months after the accident. And I've been on the street ever since. I head up the security detail now. Before it was just me, and I brought a few more guys on to assist. We have to be ready all the time, and when I'm on duty, even when I'm off duty, I always look over here. I consider it my church. You know, anytime I come here, it's Officer Pete, Officer Pete. Everybody knows me as Officer Pete, and it's kind of funny because the other officers that do it, they all have nicknames. You know, everybody knows Dave Vieira is the guy with the big arms. Kevin Fisher is the guy with the dog because he's a canine officer. So, you know, we feel as part of the family here, and you know, you're part of the staff, but you're part of the family. There's so many folks that I've met from this church that have, when I was down, that called me, checked me, sent me messages on social media, sent me emails, sent me texts. Everything from folks that work at the city that know me from that job to the folks that are here. And I knew that people were thinking about me. It's not the Sunday service that the church is. I mean, yeah, it is, but it's not. It's what the church does during the week for the community and the congregation that really matters. You know, that's what the church is. It's that kind of business, and mentoring and reaching out and praying for people. Yeah, the service is great. The service, you can get together, you see faces, but the bulk of the church's work is behind the scenes, not on Sundays. This has a special place in my heart.